Good morning, Chair Postman, members Garrett, Vollendroff, staff, and guests. Lobbies are open. Recording has begun.
Thanks, Dustin. Good morning, everybody. We'll convene the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board meeting for Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. Our first item up today will be the consideration of a memorandum of agreement, review and consideration between the agency and the Sauk-Suiattle Indian Tribe. And I'll call on Dr. Marla Conwell to give us a quick brief, and I will just mention that we're honored to be joined today by the tribal chairman, Nino Maltos II, who will give an opportunity to say a few words after board action. Dr. Conwell.
Good morning, Chair Postman, members of the board, and our audience. I'm happy to bring forward this memorandum of agreement between the Sauk-Suiattle and the agency. It's a liquor sales authorization, and this will be an umbrella MOA. So the first for the tribe, and we're very excited to see them with their new ventures beginning. So I'm seeking approval of this MOA from the agency board.
Great. Okay. Are there any questions from the board about the proposal?
I have no questions.
Seeing none, then is there a motion to approve the memorandum of agreement?
This is Ali. I move that we approve.
And this is Jim, I second.
Great, then that is approved unanimously. Thank you. Well, thank you, Dr. Conwell.
Yeah.
And then, Mr. Chairman, Chairman Maltos, welcome and congratulations.
Hey, thank you very much. I just had something very short that I wanted to say. Again, my name is Nino Maltos II. I'm the chairman of the Sauk-Suiattle Indian Tribe. I would like to thank the Washington State Liquor and Cannabis Board for working with the Sauk-Suiattle Indian Tribe. We plan on doing our best with safe serving practices involving alcoholic beverages. We are very appreciative of the partnership with the Washington State LCB and hope to carry on a productive working relationship. Thank you very much for this time to speak, and I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Mr. Chairman. And same to you. We appreciate the government relationship we have with your tribe and others, and good luck with this endeavor.
Hey, thank you very much. And I gotta cut it short. So I want to thank everybody here, and we very much appreciate this. So thank you guys all.
Have a great day.
All right, you as well. Thanks.
Moving on, then we will move to some cannabis-related rulemaking. And first up, Jeff Kildall, Policy and Rules Coordinator, will present the CR 105 on gender-neutral terminology.
Yeah, thank you. Good morning, Chair Postman and board members Garrett and Vollendroff. This morning, I am requesting the board's approval to file a CR 105 rulemaking notice to propose rule updates to several sections in Title 314 WAC. This rulemaking is for the purpose of including gender-neutral terminology in the regulations of the agency by updating gender-specific pronouns in Liquor and Cannabis Board rules. This proposed rulemaking modernizes the agency's rule language to reflect contemporary standards of inclusivity and ensures that the language used in regulations is non-discriminatory and equitable to all individuals, regardless of gender. The expedited process under RCW 3405-353 is appropriate as the amendments are technical in nature with no substantive effect on the rules. So for background on this project, the board accepted a rulemaking petition on May 8th, 2024 to replace gender-specific pronouns such as he, she, him, and her with gender-neutral terminology. This proposed rulemaking would replace those outdated gender-specific pronouns uniformly through agency regulations, which will bring these rule sections in line with modern standards of inclusivity. If approved today for filing, we plan to file this CR 105 not today, but early next week before the current Washington State Register deadline of noon on September 4th, 2024. This temporary delay is to allow for the Office of the Code Revisor to complete some current rulemaking codification of some of these same sections that are parts of other rulemaking. So for that reason, it makes amendments to those rules temporarily locked or unavailable. So continuing with this timeline, the CR 105 will be filed in the very same issue of the Washington State Register. So the original timeline is preserved. Notice of the CR 105 will be published in the Washington State Register on September 18th, 2024. As this project is expedited rulemaking, there will be no public hearing scheduled on the proposed rule changes. However, a 45-day public comment period will be open until November 4th, 2024. If the proposed rules do not require significant changes, we plan to present the CR 103 on November 6th, 2024, which would make the rules go into effect with the updates to gender neutral terminology taking effect on December 7th, 2024. Thank you for considering this CR 105 regarding gender neutral terminology in liquor and cannabis board rules. Can I answer any questions about the rulemaking project?
I don't have any, and I don't see any.
I don't have a question,
Yes.
but I do have a quick comment. I want to just acknowledge the language is important, and it signals something about our core values and how we operate. And so I really appreciate the time that the public took to bring this rule request forward and the work that staff did to work on this. So thank you, Jeff. And with that, David, I think I'm ready. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the rule request regarding revision to gender neutral terminology.
Great.
This is Ali, I second.
Great, then that is approved unanimously. Thank you all.
Thank you.
We'll stay on cannabis and hear from Policy and Rules Coordinator Daniel Jacobs to set us up for a public hearing on CR 102 for Substitute House Bill 1453, the medical cannabis patient excise tax exemption. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair Postman, members Garrett and Vollendroff. This morning, I'll give a brief review of the rulemaking implementing Substitute House Bill 1453 on the medical cannabis patient excise tax exemption prior to the public hearing. As of today, we've received 2 written comments in support of the rules filed July 17th. And assuming that there's no testimony that gives us reason to substantially change the proposed rule language, the final rule language will be filed on September 11th and effective October 12th. 1453 was passed during the most recent legislative session and went into effect on June 6th. It exempts cannabis sales from the 37% excise tax if all the following conditions are met. 1, the cannabis is purchased by a registered patient or designated provider with a recognition card. 2, the cannabis is Department of Health compliant. And 3, the retailer holds a medical cannabis endorsement. The LCB is given rulemaking authority to identify the records that retailers need to keep demonstrating that these requirements are met, and the tax exemption is currently scheduled to expire in June 2029. We held 2 stakeholder engagement sessions in early June and incorporated some of that feedback into the draft rule language. We've amended 3 existing rules sections, including 314.55.083 on traceability, 314.55.087 on record keeping generally, and 314.55.089 on tax reporting. These sections have all been changed to address the new requirements and to reference a new rule that we're proposing to create at 314.55.090, which is dedicated solely to this new tax exemption. The thought behind creating a whole new rule is based on past experience with alcohol delivery allowances that were temporary during the pandemic, but then made permanent by the legislature. Similarly here, if the legislature decides to later make this exemption permanent or to tweak it, we have the structure of a rule in place. And if it expires as scheduled, then we can rescind the rule at that time. The language in 314.55.090 repeats the requirements of 1453 as well as requiring retailers to keep the following records for every sale where they are exempting the excise tax: the date of the sale, the unique identifying number from the recognition card, as well as its effective and expiration date, identifying information about what product is sold, which is having the excise tax exempted from it, and the total sales price. There have been some other technical changes proposed to 314.55.087 and 314.55.089, such as updating LCB's mailing address, fixing some typographical errors, and changing the acronym from WSLCB to LCB, consistent with other rulemaking that was completed on July 31st. During the public hearing itself, I'm not going to be able to answer any questions, but if questions arise during the public hearing that we'd like to talk about after it's concluded, I'll be happy to answer those questions at that time. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you answer a question now from me? Or should we not?
Sure.
Oh, I mean, I don't want to mess it up. I just, you and I were exchanging emails yesterday about a piece of this, and I just want to try to get that clear in my own head and get it on the record. So can you just tell me, what is the interplay here with what we'll be recording in our CCRS and the ability to track that these products have been tested for heavy metals, which is required for all medical compliant product?
Sure. So that's one of the changes that's being made to the traceability rule. So the requirements in 090 that I went over about how retailers need to keep copies of all of those records, they are also going to be required to document that information in CCRS. So the date of the sale, the unique identifying information from the recognition card, and all that stuff. The heavy metal testing. So currently, that's already required to be reported in CCRS. That's, I think, under 4K, which requires that all quality control testing needs to be reported to CCRS. And for DOH compliant product, DOH rules require heavy metal testing. And they say that heavy metal testing is in addition to the quality control rules. And so currently, heavy metal testing for DOH compliant product already needs to be reported in CCRS.
So it's there if somebody wants to try to find that. If we wanted to go and look and say, okay, they've claimed this piece is medically compliant, so they're getting the tax exemption, and we can show that it was tested for heavy metals as per DOH regulations.
Yes.
That's great. Clears up for me. Any other questions before we open the public hearing? Okay. With that, then I will open the public hearing on the CR 102 for substitute House Bill 1453, the medical cannabis patient excise tax exemption. When you testify, you'll have up to 3 minutes to speak. Just a warning that we always give in this room, the microphones are very sensitive in the ceiling. So if you have any side conversations during the public hearing or anything of that sort, phone calls, take them outside, please. I have one person signed up virtually, Caitlin Ryan. You should be able to go ahead. See your name up there, but we don't hear or see you.
How about now?
Oh, I can hear you. Yes.
Okay. Which I suppose is the important part if you're not able to see me. Okay. So good morning. Thank you for letting me speak this morning. Glad to see all of you. I have a couple of comments that I just want to call attention to. That's not necessarily a recommendation for a change. And then I do actually have one change that I don't believe would be substantive. So I believe it can be attended to without slowing things down a bit. Danielle, I want to say thank you for continuing to move on this quickly so that we have these rules in place. One thing I wanted to point out, in 2C of the CR 102 in the new section, there's mention of the SKUs, maintaining that SKU number. And I just want to sort of highlight that sometimes the SKU number is often utilized for keeping stock, and isn't necessarily in alignment with the traceability number. So just ensuring that retailers, if that is the case, that if their SKU is not the same as the seed to sale barcode, that they're just being able to, they know that there's a difference there, and that they're making sure that they're retaining those records properly. The other thing I wanted to share with you that we're just hearing from some folks is kind of speaks to the question that you were asking, David, regarding the test results in traceability. Some folks are struggling to get some labs to get the test results into CCRS. So it's not that the results don't exist. When asked for them, they're being supplied. However, if the rule is saying that they need to be in traceability, just making sure that there's good education with folks so that they understand the T's that need to be crossed and the I's that need to be dotted in there. Then finally, I do have one request in the new section. We appreciate all of the language of ensuring that LCB has what they need to have in order to audit, which I know also goes along with the legislation that's potentially coming up. We would also like to see part of the RCW, which refers to 6951A 235, talking about patient confidentiality, that be reiterated in the rule as well, that there be some note that all of this is in alignment with patient confidentiality as laid out in RCW. And then, like I said, that's 6951 235. I think it just bears repeating, and we've done that a couple of times for other parts within this rule set, and I think it would be worthwhile here as well. And that's
Okay,
it.
we have 30
Thank you all
seconds.
for your time this morning. Okay, I'm done.
Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you for the input. That is the only person we have signed up for the public hearing. So with that, I will close the public hearing on the CO 102. Thank you, everybody, on that. Thank you. And we now will go to our general public comment. First, I'll remind everybody yet again that when you sign up, you send an email to Dustin. Then when you come on to the Teams platform, please sign up under the same name that you sent to Dustin yesterday. You know, he wasn't here. Somebody needs to be able to find you in there. Just have to have the same name. You can say whatever you want when you start, but please register under the same name that you use, or we're going to have to skip you when it comes to this. Everybody who signed up has up to.
Sorry to interrupt. Is it too late to sign up?
No, you can, because it was back there when you came in, but yeah, go ahead. We'll have you sign up. Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, thanks for the question. So we'll have one in person, and we'll do that after the online. Everyone has up to 3 minutes to speak. Ask you as always to limit your comments to LCB business and what we're doing here. If you have comments about other agencies, I suggest you take it to them. Please be respectful to everyone, staff, other speakers, people in the audience. Please be respectful of those testifying. And just as a reminder, we record this. It'll be available online probably later this afternoon. And for those that are online, as you know, just give us a second when we call your name. Dustin will find you in the queue, and we'll give you the go ahead to go ahead. And then when you're have 30 seconds left in your comment, Dustin will jump in and remind you that your time is just about up. And then we ask you to finish as best you can, right at 3 minutes, to be fair to everybody. Okay, with that, the first person I have signed up is Christopher King.
Great. Good morning, guys. Just a couple things I want to bring to your attention real briefly here. we've watched this board make sure that natives got their thing, GLBTQI got their thing, and your white cronies mostly got their thing, okay? Meanwhile, Black and Brown sat here adjacent to the whole process, waiting for something to happen. And now, after much browbeating, licenses are finally going out, installed, the whole 9 yards, okay? So, you know, this ties in with the 3-minute rule that you have now, because I did some research and Cannabis Observer noted that you did this, or you attempted to do this in 2019, but somebody testified and said the same thing that I said, which is that if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Because you see, seldom do you have meetings that run that long, that it's a concern, and the meetings are scheduled for 2 hours anyway, so it's never a problem. But now that all these other groups of people have their thing, when it comes to Black and Brown, we don't get our thing, we get our time sliced, okay? That is definitely viewpoint-based discrimination, it's content-based discrimination, and it's evil. Yeah, it is. And I'm part Cherokee myself. I'm not like Elizabeth Warren, I actually am. And I'm applauding the fact that they got theirs, but where is ours for Black and Brown? That's the first thing. Now, the next thing I'm going to take you to is the fact that I got A's in law school in exactly 2 courses, First Amendment media and constitutional law. So I'm going to bring both of those to bear for you right now, real briefly. You have a situation where we know that you gave licenses to unqualified whites and denied licenses to qualified Black and Brown, okay? Therefore, you have created a situation of your own making that requires a strict scrutiny analysis. You have a compelling governmental interest, that is the discrimination that you just did and continue to do. You have a narrowly tailored approach to it, which is to remedy the people who are qualified that you screwed in the first place. And then it has to be least intrusive means to reach the desired goal, okay? And that desired goal is some kind of justice. And that means reparations for the money that you took, and it means giving licenses out. And this is what it's all about. So I don't care if it's the governor, the AG's office, or whatever, that's what I'm talking about. Do you understand me? Do you understand me? I'm speaking to you. Okay, I think the public understands
Christopher, you have
me.
30 seconds.
I think you understand me, and the legislators understand me. I think Gregory Foster and his partners over there at Cannabis Observer, that's the only place you can really find continual information about the truth. And so I support them in their endeavors. I think major media needs to have a full-time team of reporters covering what you did to Black and Brown in this industry, as well as the co-ops too. Yeah, okay, that's all for now. I'll be seeing you soon. Goodbye. Pepper, let's go. Let's go.
I would
Next,
imagine he's lucky that you didn't join in first because everybody's.
just don't talk during the meeting, sorry. Next person signed up is Paul Bryce.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Paul Bryce. I don't think my video is working. Retailer, Happy Trees, also SCA. I'm at another cannabis convention. I'm not going to attempt to try to walk around and show you what the floor of this room looks like. It's for sure predominantly, well, it's white. But I want to discuss the rollout of how we're trying to do this next round. I already had a petition about the title search, but you know, it just seems so silly to not want us to have some type of studies on what was the first round success. How many true Black or Brown actually received this license? I mean, again, we know what the intent was for. It was for Black or Brown, just like the gentleman before. You know, it's as if the native Indian tribes were to get something, and then when you show up to see who all the winners were, you just see a line of white people. Like the intent was for Black or Brown. Already being part of this program, again, that I did not qualify by applying, even though I had high points and whatnot, but just seemed to miss it again. There was grant monies awarded for buy and for. We know what buy and for meant. Buy and for, or what it stood for, it was for Black or Brown. If you had to associate yourself for a Black community, or if you're a Black person yourself, if you're a buy and for, you receive this money. We all know that LCB is going to just get lawsuits no matter how they roll this out. So accept it. We know no matter what, some people aren't going to be happy. So do the right thing. Let us find some true friends that want to actually see the success, see where the intent for this is actually was supposed to be awarded to, and then let there actually be for the buy-in for the truly the people that it was intended for, and see that LCB actually cares to want to see success for this. Like that's where we're going to have to figure out how to work together and find friends in this relationship and have some type of trust is seeing you guys actually try to do the right thing, and again, not just cloak and dagger or try to slip something else in so we can talk about something else, then say, okay, well, we'll give you this and now we're going to ruin the program this way. We all know this should go for black or brown. Let's keep it to the intent of where it was intended to be for in the first place. Thank you. Go back to convention. You all have a wonderful day. Hope we can actually find some friends in the LCB and success for this program. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bryce. Peter Manning?
Good morning, Chair. Peter registered to speak, but is not online today.
Okay. Give him one last chance. I'll check back in with him before we finish. We have one person signed up in the room, Michael Klein.
Okay.
And you can,
This will be rough.
so you come right to there and you can have 3 minutes from when you get started.
It'd be hard to explain this in 3 minutes, but so I think maybe I'm the only one in the state that went through the entire process from application through build out. So do my own floor plan, traceability, sales, electrical, city permits, completed the entire process, no violation whatsoever. The issue, I think the biggest issue, I didn't realize this was just going to be about race. By the way, I got kicked out of high school. Wasn't a cakewalk for me either. It was, they were trying to, I never felt like I wasn't going to be arrested. I've been going for 20 years. We all had difficulty, but so the biggest problem I see right now is that there's commercial real estate brokers are teaming up with that are teaming up with property owners, and what they're actually doing is a bait and switch where they offer an employee contract, tell you that they're buying a building, and they need a lease to your place, and then they don't build the building, and then they don't pay rent, utilities, or anything. And then the arbitration, since you guys won't find out the results for 2 more years, and it's meant to be private, you're gonna deal with this in 2 years. The big problem. What they're doing is you can go on Craigslist, find a commercial broker, type in I-502 right away, confirm this. What they're doing is they get the property, they sue the property owner. So they first say, we're gonna write this up in 3 contracts. For one, they only submit one to the LCB and say nothing else attached. Okay. The LCB doesn't require anything from me, so I never signed anything. Department of Revenue doesn't require any signature at all. So in my case, I knew it was a con. I was correct. They still didn't build a greenhouse 3 years later.
Michael, you have 30
the
seconds.
arbitrator took my side, but you'll see this. So it's in Odessa, Washington, where they're stacking up licenses. And so they come in and tell you, we're going to offer you a job. And this is the biggest problem, because the court costs, the lawyer charges $600 an hour, and most people have to back down. And then court costs alone cost
Michael, that's your time.
$60,000.
Great. Thank you. And after the meeting, if you give your email to Dustin, or you could also just send anything, this is Ron for everyone, you can send written comments as well if you have more you want to share with us. And If there's a question that arises, we'll try to get back to you by email. Just checking back to see if Peter Manning showed up.
He may be online. We can check real quick.
Okay, Peter Manning, if you're there, go ahead. Going once. You should be able to unmute. If that's you there, BC. Once again, signed up by your name to be easier for us. Is that
I know. Yeah, they're engaged. They just haven't turned their microphone on at the same.
Mr. Manning? You are set now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Good morning to the board member, Chair Postman, Valendroff, and Ollie Garrett. For whatever reason, Microsoft Teams will not allow me to change my title. So for future references, if it doesn't allow me, it's just Black Excellence Cannabis is normally me. My name is Peter Manning. I'm with Black Excellence Cannabis. I'm the president. I like to I like to chime in on what Christopher King says and also what Paul Bryce says as well. I did attend an event that is sad, but it was a happy event, but it was predominantly all white. I think it was myself and 2 other Black people there in the cannabis industry. This landscape has been this way since its inception in 2015 when the state decided to take the medical marijuana over, stripped that and robbed us Black people of that. And I did bring it to the attention of one of the board members that were currently on this board now, and that was Ollie Garrett in 2016. That totally was disregarded. Through pestering the LCB, Deborah Diamond report was done, followed up by the Hines report. Even in spite of all that information being given to the LCB, under Jane Rushford and Rush Hauge, nothing, and Ollie Garrett, nothing changed with the Black or brown community in the cannabis industry. And that was in 2016, 2017. 2019 is when the lawsuit kicked in, and then that changed the whole landscape, everything. Once again, I'll say this, it takes legislative action with the LCB or legal action to make you guys understand that you guys have done Black people wrong. It's always been that way. When you guys were just the liquor control board, you guys didn't give licenses to Black people. That's evident. That's proven. We have no liquor stake in the state of Washington. We have no liquor stake in this business. We don't even have cannabis in this business. It's like every avenue you guys touch to keep us marginalized from economic wealth. I truly believe that wholeheartedly that white supremacy is scared of Black independence because it kills it. And this agency has been, they have upheld the white supremacy. It's just look at the landscape of the industry now. That's why I call for people that help put that in place. Rick Garza.
Peter, you have 30 seconds.
Rebecca Smith, Jeannie McShane, Nicola Reed, Beth Lehman, they all need to be fired. They need to be let go. They are the ones that helped create this system. They are the ones. Everyone else is gone. They need to go as well. You guys need to clean house and get this right for Black and brown people. We need to stop messing around and make it happen for us. It's not right, Postman, and you know it. And we're going to take you to court.
Peter, that's your time.
It. Thank you.
Yeah, what it says is not right. It's not correct. It's not true. It's not fair. It's mentioning people who are among the people who've worked the hardest on this program. I understand, as Mr. Bryce said, there are some differences about what that program looks like as it rolled out, but this is now the second installment from legislation promoted by the LCB and working with the community to do that. I just think it remains just troubling that those that have spent the most time and been the hardest on themselves in the current system to improve it are the ones whose names get read off every other Wednesday. I think that's beyond unfortunate. So, and I'll keep saying that. So with that, we're adjourned.